everybody, it is Elson932 on YouTube. Thank you for joining me. We are here for episode 5 of the Kingscourt. Please make sure that you do like, share, and subscribe. We have fun here. This is about, some laughs. We're going to learn something, but we definitely going to pull the curtains back on some of these shows and some of the things that they're trying to tell us about these kings. I just don't understand what's going on about these kings. But y'all, in the meantime, it is definitely episode 5. At least y'all don't have to vote on dates. Okay. Y'all don't have to vote on dates. I do believe I put a poll up. I don't know if it's still there, but we'll get to the question at hand a little bit later on. So y'all, what we start with is Janae is in her head, she says, about the new queens moving in. And I'm like, Janae, you knew new queens were coming. You were told, like the other kings, that the matchmaker found 3 new queens. Okay? You knew they found 3 new queens and they were going to move in. What do you mean you're in your head about it? Probably you're in your head like, oh, I just got rid of the last set. Now here come a new set, But let's see who's here. I saw Jay Blake says she's going to catch us on the replay. Thank you, Jay Blake. Ellen V, you caught up? I'm glad you caught up, Ellen, and I'm glad you are here with us. Woo, Tyson and his date list. Tyson and his appointment scheduling list. It just screamed to me like Tyson's fashion, calendar where he has to go to photo shoots and he needs to keep it in check. That's what it was reminding me of with Tyson. But So Tyson is with the queens, and he said he knew Jennifer was not for him because she wanted Titus. He said he knew Jennifer was not for him because she wanted kids, and he had had a vasectomy. He said he has kids, and he doesn't want any new kids because of a pretty awful divorce, and he thought he was not going to marry again. But creating a broken home, he's not for that. So I guess while he's out here enjoying the dating life, he didn't want to bring new life into the world. Well, that is great for the responsibility. Great for the responsibility of it all. That's not the only thing you have to protect against. But considering you protect against that, I'm sure you're going to protect against a whole bunch of other stuff. So he talks about, the age gap. He talks with a whole group of women at the table. His mom was 11. When unfortunately she was raped and had him at 12. Okay. He said he grew up hating his mom at first. He said life was a train wreck until 17 when he kind of understood and learned, and he turned that hate into love. He said, his mom was just a kid trying to raise kids. Titus, I applaud you for opening up about this, because this, there's a lot more people than we realize have this backstory. And at 12, I cannot imagine at 12 being responsible for a life, but not only a life, but a life that came up in not so positive ways. That truly was what, came to me, because it's like, especially if Titus looks like the perpetrator, his dad, it adds another layer to it. But I'm glad y'all have pulled through. And as I said, you don't know how many people have gone through this. Well, guess what? Right there at the table. Okay. Right there at the table, we had Tari. And y'all, let me pull up my notes. Girl, yes, Janae gives me the ick. She does give me the ick. Let me pull up. These are all the queens. Y'all, I can't fit them all in one neat little row because there's just too many women in the house. Like his maturity and his thought process. I did like that. I like when Titus gets into, speaking and talking to the ladies. So, as I said, Tari is having the conversation with Titus at the table, and it turns out her mother had the same type of experience. She said multiple siblings. That's how they came about. And she got really emotional. He said, this is trauma talk. And I felt like Titus was kind of like holding his emotions at bay then. He got into the I need to be there for someone else. And I don't think he delved into his emotions there. Maybe he didn't want to because he don't know these queens and the cameras are rolling. Okay. Maybe he didn't want to, but I felt like he kind of put his wall back up and was more like, let me help you through this, whatever you're going through or whatever you're thinking about. So that's what I thought of with Titus when he kind of pulled back, but he did help Tari. But Sarah, stay out their business. Because Titus, if y'all would notice, now hearing this and looking back at the episodes, notice Titus's relationship as far as physicality with these women. Now, Titus is a big dude. There's no question about it. Titus is a big dude. And I feel in many instances with looking back at it, Titus, one, make sure that he's not an imposing figure with the ladies. He is not the one at the exit or at the door. And he's always asking, can I initiate contact with you? Can I give you a hug? Is this all right? And now I'm like, first I was like, you're a little oversensitive. Maybe it's a camera. But I think Titus was like, he's very much, because of what his mother went through, very much sensitive to a woman and consent and permission. Hey, Munira, glad to have you here. I'm at work, but can join your live. Yay, it's calm at work. Okay, well, this is a good one to be talking about at work. I just didn't think he liked her. Maybe Tari ain't the one for him, but emotional protection. I understand that. I totally get that. So yeah, Titus kind of like, to me, he's very, very much aware and hyper aware of the women, physical touch, consent, all of that. When you look at him, because even when you look back when Ariel was draped on him, his hands were to the side. She was draped on him. You know, she could move away whenever she wanted to. He is very, very conscious of, you know, the woman has a right and the woman can move as freely as she pleases when I took a second glance at him. So, Tyson was summoned by Felicia. Okay. Tyson was sitting there and Felicia's like, yeah, could I steal you for a moment, Tyson? And he's like, me? Really? But before he leaves with Felicia, he has to stop and kiss Jennifer on the head. He had to kiss Allison on the head. And I'm like, Tyson, you're heading to Felicia. I'm sure she's not going to appreciate you stopping to give a little kiss on the head to those other ladies. Munira says, Tari, Sarah, and Janae are annoying me a little with their behavior. They are. I wish they all could have gone. They all could have gone. Hey, just Rhonda01, glad to have you here. Yes, y'all, please like the live. Please like the live. And y'all can visit Just Rhonda. I think she's going on live a little bit later today. She's usually the 7 o'clock hour if you go to her channel. And she's got all the things for you. Housewives, Huntsville, all of the good thing, even Kingscourt as well. Okay. So y'all, Tyson was summoned by Felicia. He stopped, he kissed Jennifer and Allison on the head. And apparently Sarah and Tyson were doing a confessional. Hey, Chicago girl, glad to have you here. They were doing a confessional together. And she's like, you're always with someone else. And he's like, she's getting possessive. I think it's because she likes me. And Sarah starts blushing and all that. And I was like, Sarah, don't fall for it. Tyson is playing you. Tyson is playing you. Please don't fall for it. So Felicia is cuddled up on the couch. I mean, leg draped on Tyson. They're on the couches outside by the pool, and she's draped on him. And she says, is he telling the others the same thing? And she's like, I want to talk about Jennifer. Tyson says, you know, Jennifer was shocked that she was matched with Carlos. And Felicia's like, that ain't what she's telling us. That ain't what she's saying. And y'all know we have heard what Jennifer has said. Jennifer understands why she was matched with Carlos is what we have seen. So I don't know if Tyson is trying to tell himself that Jennifer really don't want Carlos, but Jennifer hasn't said that according to the footage we have seen. Okay? Media said, Tyson gives me the ick. He acts like a teenager. I cannot understand how the girls are still attractive to him. I don't know. I don't know either, Munira. I really don't. And it's nothing to do with his age. As you said, he's acting like a teenager. He's acting like, who should I take to the prom? And everybody wants him. So Titus is talking to Sarah around the Queens and, you know, Carlos. And it's about 1:05 a.m. And Tyson is still talking and Sarah still doesn't get her time. Sarah is still sitting there waiting. She said she does not compete. And she's struggling with this, and she decides to go to bed, where Janae yells out, Tyson, your 1 a.m. just canceled. And I was like, Tyson's like, oh, I'm like, girl, why did you have to yell that out? Why do you have to create a moment? But, I think maybe because Janae's annoying me, that everything she's doing is annoying me. So then Tyson, with Allison, he said he talks to her about getting to know her. He got to juggle all the ladies, but he has to get to know the person that the people said, the matchmaker said is his perfect match. Okay. He got to get to know her. He asked her about her scar. And if y'all look at it, if y'all peep that scene, Tyson is looking everywhere but her until it's time to talk about her scar. He's looking down. He's looking to the side. And when he does talk to her about the scar, he kind of looking up to her like a child that is asking someone a question that they had no right asking. It's like, what about that scar? It was very, very telling, his body language. Rhonda says 1 a.m. is wild. I would have went to bed too. Just Rhonda, 1 a.m. Girl, I ain't got them kind of time anymore. But it seems half the house was still awake at 1 a.m. So we don't know what the filming time is like. But guess she had to stay up to make sure she didn't miss her appointment, because maybe she would still have to pay the copay or pay the toll because she missed the appointment and he was there. So, so Tyson does sit with Allison and ask about the scar. And he said, I like to do extreme sports. Would you be able to do that? And she's like, yes, it's just her ability. She is willing, but her range of motion on her shoulder isn't very good. But she's still in physical therapy. And she said she's, had a cycling accident, okay? And she will ride again. And she feels she's gotten a second chance in life, okay? Feel like the second chance in life. Yes, LNV, when you miss the doctor's appointment, you're still subject to a copay because you missed it. She's still subject to the toll if she wasn't up at 1 a.m. Now, Tyson missed the appointment, go along your merry way. So Allison tells us about that, very, very big cycling accident she had. And I thought that was quite telling. And I wondered about what Tyson was saying. He showed her his itty bitty scar. I like the fact that Tyson tried to show her, hey, I got a scar too, but it was an itty bitty scar. Allison's scar is about, along her shoulder going down her arm, the no show fee. Yes, LNV. So with Tyson and Allison, she said, hey, she's willing to do the extreme sport. She doesn't know how much of it she can do. Maybe Tyson, it's time for you to sit down. Maybe it's time for you to sit down. Okay. Maybe it's time for you to play the extreme sport on the video game. How about that? How about the video game? So, Janae and Kat are talking. They're doing, I guess, yoga. And Janae says she's upset because this is supposed to be Carlos's perfect match. And Kat is, griping about she can't get time with Tyson. Kat, there's a whole schedule. There's a whole schedule. Fit yourself in. She says he's with the girls or on his phone, not looking in her eyes when they do have time together. And she never had to compete. And now she feels like she's not good enough. But she'll make the best of it. Kat, I guess you being cheated on is rearing its ugly head. And I'm sorry. I'm totally sorry. But this is a dating show and you have to compete. So whether you've competed before or not, this is what you signed up for more. You signed a non-disclosure agreement. You signed that you're going to participate in this. This is what you signed up for. And if you're going to date Tyson and already you have an issue and we just in this house, in this, insulated environment, what's going to happen on the red carpet? What's going to happen at premieres? What's going to happen when he has to do a press tour? He ain't got the time. He is working. So if you can't handle this in the house, any of the ladies that can't handle what's going on in the house now have no business being with Tyson Beckford. That is just my humble opinion. That's just my humble opinion. So Carlos wants to talk to Jennifer and 3 other women. So Titus says, he wants to talk to Dr. Kalia. Okay. Now, the legend of the ladies here, Janae is in gold because she was in the first group of women. Red and white was the second group of women. Green was the third group of women. And the blue and white are the perfect matches that the matchmaker made for the men. So that's the legend of why there are different colors on the ladies' names. Okay. So Carlos and Titus say maybe they need to do a schedule since they have other women they would like to talk to. But Titus said, hey, Tyson ruffles some feathers, but it will make it easier for him to know who's interested. So if you put your name on the list, Titus knows you're going to be interested in talking to me. So they talk about the matches and how the matchmaker got it right. Titus compliments Ariel and how great she looks because she passed by. Ariel made sure she passed by on the way to the pool so you can see how she looked. And he's like, hey, yeah, you look good. And she's like, you coming to join me? He's like, I will. They had a cute little banter. I peep you though, Ariel. Now there's a pool party this week. There is no date. I don't have y'all voting on which date is the best because I know, shApp, I don't see her here. But shApp likes the none of the above, But there's no there's no date this week for y'all to vote on which one you prefer. So the ladies look good. The men are mingling. And Carlos mentions, Dr. Kalia delivered a baby this morning. And y'all, Ariel sounded like a hater. She sounded like a true hater. It's not what she said, it's how she said it. She said, Dr. Kalia is a pediatrician. She's not an OBGYN. She ain't delivering no babies. But you know what? I'm just a, physical therapist. I was like, Ariella, you sound like you're hating. You are correct. She's a pediatrician. She's not the one delivering babies. Okay. I understand. That is correct. But the way you said it is like, don't put her up on a pedestal. That ain't the pedestal, or that ain't where she's supposed to be. So what is the man that made an error? She didn't say anything. The man said she delivered a baby. It sounds real haterish. Munira says, I don't understand why the girls complain about competing with each other. They're the ones who decided to participate in the program. Thank you, Munira. They signed that contract. Okay. So Tyson goes to help Jennifer, and put up, I guess, the water polo net. And he mentions, how the ladies are of different flavors. Look at this. I got butter pecan over here. I have vanilla. I got chocolate. And I'm like, Tyson, that's exactly how you see the ladies. That is exactly how they see the ladies, as the 31 flavors of Baskin Robbins. And all you want to do is take a lick. That's all you want. I'm sorry. You ain't trying to buy the franchise. You just trying to enjoy ice cream for as long as it takes before it melts. Okay. That is exactly how you see them. Hey, Lady T-Bug, glad to have you here. Y'all, if you like true crime, Lady T-Bug's channel is it for you. You get a good kiki and wonderful information out there, okay, on many different cases. So in moving on, okay, after he done said, how many licks of the cone he gonna have with the ladies, I'm sorry. It just put me off, but it showed me exactly what Tyson thought. Felicia said she may have to intervene, okay, since he likes shiny new things. And Jennifer is a shiny new thing. So she may have to just bust between them to kind of break Tyson up in talking to Jennifer. She said maybe she'll just drop a margarita on her head. And I said, really, Felicia? Really? But you're the one that's talking later on about how this is so high school and you don't, participate in that, and you grown AF. But here you are talking about you should drop a margarita on Jennifer's head. Really? Why don't you drop it on Tyson's head? We're not advocating any type of physical altercation here. But if you're going to drop something on somebody, drop the margarita on Tyson, because he's the one entertaining a woman that is not his match. Carlos and Steph get to talking, okay? And he talks to her about what her perfect match is, and he asks, Jennifer to get him a margarita. Yo, Jennifer! Kind of sound like Adrian from Rocky. Yo, Adrian! It kind of sounded like that to me. But he does ask Jennifer to go get a margarita for him. And Janae, kind of tell, you ain't making my man a drink. So she gets up and gets the margarita for him. Janae's like, why don't Jennifer go sit down and maybe just sit down in an Uber and never come back? Janae, your issue is not with Jennifer. I'm sorry. Your issue is not with Jennifer. Your issue is with Carlos. Carlos asked her to get a drink. She did not get up, offer to get him a drink, and shaking a tail feather in front of him. He reached out to her. She's not the problem. Tyson trying to entertain everybody. Right. He's the show pony, unfortunately, LNV. So Carlos goes on to say Janae is blocking all the shots he has with Jennifer. She just is like, not here, not around me. He says, sorry, Jennifer, until he mans up. He's just a 6'9" chicken. Carlos, are you going to forever be a chicken in this relationship? This is what tells me that Carlos really don't like Janae like that. He really don't like her like that. He playing around. Because why would you say that you being a 6'9" chicken? Why would you do that? And you're leaving Jennifer to take the wrath. So Felicia is out over there saying Tyson is her man, her man, her man. Okay. Sarah's like, I wouldn't say that till he's actually your man. You shouldn't be saying that. Which is true. None of y'all should be saying Tyson or any of the men is your man until he asks you to be his queen. But y'all are too busy trying to mark your territories that it's getting out of hand. Titus and Carlos mentioned that they will have a schedule too. Why did they do that? And I know why. Because they're trying to shake the boat. Whoever in production put them up to that, they don't need to shake the boat at all. They don't. So Ariella says she don't like that idea. Now, Ariella, granted, she said she didn't like the idea when Tyson tried to do that and put the, schedule on Fritz. She didn't like it then, and she don't like it now. She said it's obnoxious, and Titus is trying to be too much like Tyson. And she is not going to be like Sarah and Kat, standing there waiting for her time slot. So this is where Tari enters, okay? Tari done had her grand entrance with her beaded wig, looking all, Egyptian goddess. And she's sitting there with her drink, poking the bear. And I love it. Tari, I loved every moment of it. Thank you, Tari. You were giving in this moment. So Tari says, well, allow them to wait. If they want to wait on Tyson, allow them to have their own journey and allow them to wait. It ain't you waiting. It's them. So Tari goes on to further say, does the list make you nervous, Ariella? Does it make you nervous to know that other people may join the list and he may find someone else entertaining? Ariella's like, she don't like it. And Titus is like, ask us kings what we think, because it's not about anybody else. We made the decision. She said the list is stupid. I was like, ooh. She said either she gonna move forward or she gonna say F it. And it might be the latter. I was like, oh, Ariella, you showing your spice. You showed your spice. You loved it too, LV. Tari was giving me everything I needed in this moment, in this entire moment. I wish I could see the raw footage because I'm sure there was more. I'm sure the way Tari was grinning behind that drink, I am sure there was more. But I digress. But in order not to go further and dig deeper, because Tari was cool as a cucumber while she was serving it cold. Titus is like, took the donut that Ariella was floating on, and he pushed it and pushed her away. He's like, oh, no. We got to move down to the other end of the pool. Move down. But it was Titus looking back every time Tari said something. Titus was, and he was co-signing. Titus was co-signing what she said. She's like, let them wait. He's like, yeah, true. Yeah, let them wait. Titus was co-signing what was said. So he does go and talk to Ariel on the lounger. He says, you acting up. Do you think it was okay to have this back and forth? He said, it's not queen behavior to talk like this about his idea with other people and voice your opinion to them. I said, you know what, Titus, the better thing to say is don't fight in front of me. Don't get into a back and forth in front of me. But he tells her it was a test, and I don't like tests. Okay? I don't like tests. And I don't like tests that are drawn up by someone who is not an official exam developer. Let's not do this. I don't like the tests. Because Titus, she could have failed the test and it could have been real wrong. Tari's, beaded weight could have been at the bottom of the pool with you doing this test, putting her in that position. That is not protecting her in front of everyone and doing the daggone things. This was not it. This was not it at all. If you weren't going to do it, you shouldn't have talked about a list at all. You should have just left it alone. So she says she wants to be able to speak her thoughts out in the open. And it was a public conversation. And that's where I would have gone further and say, well, hun, Titus, you started the conversation. You said about this list. You brought up the list in public. If you wanted me to share my thoughts in private, you would have brought up the idea in private. But that's just me, y'all. Y'all can certainly put in the chat, put in the comments what you think. But I was like, you brought up in public so I can voice my opinion and have a reaction in public. You didn't say, we're going to talk about this later or in the car ride home. You didn't say that. You did not say that. So Dr. Cleus walks in, okay? She says, wait a minute, why are people not mingling? Why are the kings not mingling and looking like they're coupled up? So Tari says, Ariella is attached to Titus. Tari, Tari, you are giving me, I wish you were, I saw a lot more of your scenes around the pool because you were giving me the whisper. You were the one whispering and starting stuff all over the pool. She's like, Ariel is attached to Titus. And Dr. Kalia says, she want to just bust up in there and talk to him. But, she ain't going to be chasing that man. Jennifer, does not want to get between Carlos and Janae. Okay. She does not like busting in. And he has to make time for her. You're right, Jennifer. He needs to get out of Janae's clutches. And yes, I said clutches. I could say talons, but I'm going to say clutches. He needs to get out of Janae's clutches and get some breathing room so he can entertain other people. Because then all of a sudden he's going to say, oh, well, I never got a chance to see anybody else. I was just stuck with Janae. So Jennifer, you are right. Don't go to him. Let him free himself. So Jennifer, though, has her own little dig, says if he wants to settle for instant, it shows his priorities are not in order. Basically, she's like, I am your perfect match. I was picked by a professional. But if you want the instant queen that came with the house, the first group, then that shows me where your priorities are. So Kat, Tyson is giving, physical attention to the other ladies. She feels self-conscious and he notices she's not having a good time. Kat, I don't like it when people are moping around like Kat was. I really don't like it. It kind of sours the whole event and evening. She tells him, though, when he pulls her aside, that she cannot be her authentic self. And if she leaves, she may be seen as a bad person. And he's like, no, do you, boo? And she said she want to go home. He said, hey, we can still be friends. Really? I don't think they're still friends. Or if he gave her a number, he done changed it. But that's just my humble opinion. Kat said, go find your girl and enjoy your journey. So y'all, Kat decides to leave. Kat, right here, Kat makes a decision to leave the process. They're dropping like flies, y'all. The kings do talk. Tyson said that he sent Kat home. And I'm like, when did that happen, Tyson? Tell me. Somebody run the footage back. When did Tyson tell Kat to go home? When did he send her home? When did he send her home? Because for me, that is just disingenuous. That is not the footage we saw. Kat said she's uncomfortable. He said, you make the decision that's right for you. Now we turn around and tell the kings, you had to send Kat home. This is where I was done with Tyson. I was done. Ain't nobody feeding you lines for you to have to lie and say you sent Kat home. Carlos said, this is freeing up Tyson to find love. It ain't free. When was Tyson constrained from finding love? Please tell me that, Carlos. When was he constrained like you are with Janae? When was Tyson, caught up in somebody's web that he can't be free to find love? Yet here you are caught up in Janae's web. You ain't free to even find a conversation. You ain't free to find a conversation with anybody else. You ain't even free to order a drink from another queen. Because Janae's going to say, sit your $5 butt down before I make change. And she going to be saying it to you or the queen. And you going to listen with your 6'9" chicken self. You said it. You said you a 6'9" chicken. I'm just repeating what you said. Didn't understand why he kissed Kat. Don't understand it either, Munira. Tyson be lying. Just Rhonda said he be lying. He is. And we saw a clear indication of that. Why you got to lie? It's on camera. We could roll the footage. And they did. They showed you were lying, Tyson. You had to send her home. What? No, 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 no. That ain't what was said. So Sarah and Ariel talk about, Felicia claiming Tyson. And Felicia says in a confessional that this is high school drama and she's grown AF. And none of them are getting between her and Tyson. Okay. That sounds like a threat. That sounds like a threat, ma'am, Felicia. Okay. You should say it's not going to be easy getting between. She said, none of y'all getting between me and Tyson. So Sarah is talking to Tyson and she says the dynamic between her and Felicia, is off. And they haven't, she had the my man moment. She told Tyson what happened. And Tyson is like, oh, come on. Now, Sarah, Tyson don't want to have these conversations. Tyson want to know what we eating, what we drinking, we having a good time, come play a game. He don't want to have these serious conversations. He told us that on camera. So he simultaneously has a conversation with Felicia. He tells Felicia, these side comments. Y'all know because he's like a kid that's told to go apologize and he really don't want to have the conversation with the person. He's like, the side comments aren't necessary. Don't do that. And I was like, Tyson, you just as much chicken as Carlos. And Felicia's like, don't tell me that. We're not sister wives. But Felicia, here's my issue with this. He's asking you not to do something. He's asking you to not show certain behaviors. What's going to happen if this was one of his events? Word get back to him that Felicia's acting in a certain manner. And he says, Felicia, I would like you not to act like this in front of the sponsors, in front of people paying my checker. What would happen? Would you listen? Or would you be like, don't bring that to me? I don't want to hear that. I'm enjoying. She said, she's not being rude. So tell Sarah what you got to tell her about her behavior. Felicia, you're not listening. The man is asking you, hey, could you stop that? Could you pause that? He's also telling you, don't be messing up what he got going. Don't be saying my man when I'm trying to hook up with Jennifer, because that's it too. That's what I saw with Tyson too. He trying to hook up with Jennifer and he can't have you, Felicia, be all about my man, my man, my man. So we find out later on after Felicia done told him, I ain't talking to you no more. I'm going to enjoy this night with my girls. Call me when you got something important to say. Felicia makes Sarah nervous and unsure about her position on Tyson's list. Yes, because Felicia jumps up and she takes the time with Tyson. She's like, hey, Tyson, can I borrow you for a minute? Let's go cuddle on this couch. She is grabbing. She said she's on the Janae plan, always be in her man's face. Remember that from the last episode? She always, in the man's face. That's what she said. So we find out who the queens on the bottom are this week. There are 4 queens on the bottom. Okay. There are 4 queens on the bottom. And these are the queens on the bottom. Okay. There is Ariel, Steph, Sarah, and Tari. Now, y'all know who going to be hotter than fish grease because they on the bottom. Y'all know who going to be hot about this. Sarah and Ariel is hot about it. Tyson said making the list was not the best idea, but it brought out the truth. Tyson does have a conversation with Tari. He said she's hurting from something. And that's where she discloses about her mom. Her mom had the same experiences Titus's mom had. And, a few of her siblings, are as a result of, the grape, in the past. She has 10 siblings and, she knows how they got here. And Titus says, is no way you can love me with all that you're carrying. And he wants her to heal and you cannot fight every battle. And I thought, okay, I understand that, but that was just an excuse because I would have liked you to kept Tari. There's a lot of other queens. There are a lot of other queens in this group you could have put on the bottom. I wouldn't mind if where Catherine at, where Denitra, where Demi. I wouldn't mind any of them. Where's Idlewise? Any of them could have been going home. Where Brianna? I like you, Brianna, but where Brianna at? There's a lot of other queens. When Tari could have been here stirring up that fish grease, okay? She could have been here stirring up that grease. I would have loved it if y'all just kept Tari to just stir things up. She's a good stirrer. So Carlos talks to Steph and he says, they're deep in a homie vibe, but it could develop into a relationship. Steph says, hey, she wants mental before physical because physical is the fun part. And she deserves, her perfect person, and she describes that perfect date. Carlos asks her if she is open to exploring the romantic side with him, and she said she is open to exploring. But Janae gonna block it. Janae gonna block it. And we have seen it. She has seen it. Janae gonna block it. But I'm gonna be mad at Carlos in a minute, y'all. Okay. Ariel talks to Titus, and he said, you had an issue with me, and you went off on someone else who had no bearing on it. And I love the camera angle where they show Tari and her distance from the conversation. So Tari could very well be hearing what's going on while Titus and Ariel are talking, but she gives no indication. He said he does not want a woman he has to watch out for. If she does that here, what will happen in the real world with real problems? And she says she wants to self-reflect on this. It was her way of shutting down the conversation. You ain't going to dress me down anymore. We're going to talk about this later. So Tyson talks with Sarah, and Sarah is hot. Sarah is hot. She's like, you chose me to be here. You chose me to be here. And he's like, hey, all this headbutting. She's like, I can't have a thought. He's like, it's all in how you present it. She don't care. But Tyson likes the spicy. He likes the back and forth with Sarah. I said, why did you say, why didn't you just say my man too when talking to Felicia? I said, Tyson, you wanted to get cussed out by Felicia? The way Felicia said, I am grown AF in her confessional, I would not be saying that and throwing it in her face. I would not be, because she would stand up there and she'd probably cuss Sarah out. Sarah is scared, Tyson, and she's trying to use you as a shield, and you ain't having it. So Sarah says she don't care because she won't be talking to anyone anymore after this, so it won't be a problem. I was like, daggone, Sarah, are you leaving? She's like, I'm the worst of all the girls. He said he didn't say that. She's like, why are we here at an elimination dinner if I'm not the worst? And I agree, Sarah. Why are we here if I'm not the worst girl for you or the worst queen? He takes her hand to calm her down. And, he's like, you acting like this or being could be the end of us. And she's like, you put me here. And I like that. Don't let him wiggle out of it. He put you in the bottom. So whatever attitude you have, he set it off. So, y'all, we had the elimination dinner, okay? We're at first is the elimination mixers where they have all these conversations to let the queens know where they stand. Then the elimination dinner is where we say, yeah, eat up, get out. I'm sorry. That's how it looks to me. It is eat up, and get out. Hey, awesomely Bree. Yes, thank you so much. So at the elimination dinner, Ariel, we talked about her. Titus said he wants a woman that will not embarrass him, but she has a voice, and he forgets that she has to choose him too. Thank you, Ariel. Remind that brother he can ask you to be his queen, and guess what? You can say no. So Titus said Tari is one, amazing human being, but you are not her queen, okay? I was like, okay, but you are a queen. Okay, Titus, good cleanup on aisle 2. Tari said that is correct, and she is grateful for this opportunity in being here. I was like, okay. Then Carlos, Steph, we had good dates, but he felt the homie vibe. You are not our queen. I said, this is where I was pissed at Carlos. Why did you feed Steph that whole bunch of crock? Are you open to dating me? Are you open to explore more when you were going to tell her to explore the Uber on the way home? Carlos, why are you telling this girl this to give her any kind of hope that there's anything after this dinner? You're telling her, hey, how about we explore this and whatever when you decide to stop being chicken up on the Janae, as you said. So she is shocked as I am. Because ain't no way you asking me for my time and get me to consent to my time, and now you want to say, get gone, you out of time. So Steph says, hey, establish a friendship before love. She did not get a fair chance because of Janae. Okay? Oh, cause of Janae. But Steph, I'm going to add that because of Carlos allowing Janae to control his behavior. That's what he's allowing. He could just tell Janae, I need a moment. Could you calm down? He could say that. Because if he ain't saying that here, either he don't want to be with her in the outside world, he just letting her run wild in here, or he really don't speak up at all out there. And that does not bode well. Titus talks to Ariel, said we have a great connection. He felt that she would not protect us though. But he says, you are not going home. So Ariel acknowledges that she can grow and evolve. Last up is Tyson with Sarah. He's, we had so much fun, had a great time. Tyson's talking about, I'm sure if they jumped out the plane, he would have said we jumped out the plane together. Your reaction, it bothered him. She let herself get to that level, and he needs to be trusted by her. He will always look out for their best interest. But she is not going home. She appreciates what he said. Love is hard, and she's committed to seeing this through. So what happened is that Steph and Tari were sent home. I wish Tari would have stayed. I'm sorry, y'all. I wish Tari would have stayed. That was my girl. That was my pot stirrer. And I loved it. And I wanted to see what other wigs you had, in that suitcase packed, because that beaded, braided wig was giving. Oh my gosh. Egyptian goddess, personified. But that's selfish reasons, okay? The kings decide who stays and who goes. So Sarah and Ariel, they stay. I guess they're using this elimination dinner mixer as more time to give a corrective action plan to the queens that they want to keep as well. But the queens see it as one step out the door. One step out the door. I did not like Carlos trying to give Steph, an opportunity to say, we could get together. Something could happen between us. Are you open? Carlos, you ain't open. Even if you open, the door is locked. And Janae got the key. Even if you were open to it, your door is locked. Janae has the key, and she put the be back later sign so everybody knows, don't even try to come in here. Don't even try to come in here. Okay? I just was like too through with them. I was too through with Carlos in that manner. Carlos, for me, is the king that I cannot stand this week, even though I can't stand Tyson a lot. There's a lot of Tyson behavior I can't stand. Carlos this time, he didn't protect Jennifer. He's not protecting anybody from Janae. He's letting her run wild. He asked Jennifer for that drink. And then Janae stepped in and did it anyway. And then when Janae stepped forward and did it right in front of him, thank you, Janae. And he called himself a chicken. And when he ready to man up, that's when he'll have time with Jennifer. Now, Steph, he tried to tell Steph, well, are you open to connection? Making her think that you're going to untangle yourself from the web that Janae has put around you. But you didn't. You didn't. And I'm sorry. That to me was not cool. Do not do that. Don't single yourself out. You could say, are you open to more dates with us kings? I would have understood that. But you talking to Steph in this manner, like, hey, girl, I really like you. I'm checking for you. I just don't know what we could be. Would you be open to a date with me? Sorry for the rhyme. I didn't expect it. But it's like, she said, yeah. And you can see she had some hope. But then when the hope was doused, that's why she said, yeah, you wouldn't be able to get a date with anybody or have any time with anybody because Janae is blocking. But y'all, he is allowing Janae to block. But y'all, that is the end of the episode. If y'all have any other comments, please put in the comments below. Put it in the chat right now. Because this week, Titus, definitely skyrocketed above the other kings again. But this time, he's, in outer space, the level at which he has attained. And Carlos dropped significantly, and he down at the bottom with Tyson for me with this behavior this week. I really didn't like it. So y'all, again, next week will be another episode. Let me remind you of the queens that are here, but remind you that Tari was sent home and Steph was sent home. So maybe I could kind of cram the queens all back together and have one line. One line for the queens. Kat is gone, Tari is gone, Steph is gone. I wish them much success in their route to love. This may not have been the best place for them, but definitely there's love out there for them. I mean, hey, there's love somewhere for the Kings, whether it's in this house, we will find out. But y'all, thank you so much for joining me. Just to give you a little wrap up, Love is Blind UK season 2 is up now. I have both first 2 episode recaps already posted on my channel. Also, Friday night is our LCID Unscripted, where we talk about any and everything that you wish to talk about. Also, Saturday is Project Runway. Project Runway, we are live at 5 talking about Project Runway. Then the next thing we're doing is on Sunday is Unsolicited Advice, and we have memberships, and we have 2 member lives that have gone on, and they were a little wild, okay? Well, you got to peel back the curtain and see LCID in the membership, in the membership behind the scenes, okay? So thank you so much for being here. I also have Match Me Abroad. I forgot about that. And Alone, season 12, that is the survival show. That video is posted every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you will continue to join me for not only Kingscourt, but everything else exciting we're doing on this channel. And I will see you on the next one.